Hello. I think I'm live. I'm gonna double check some things just before we get into it. Making sure that we are, maybe. I hope so anyway. If not, this is embarrassing. Alright, let's see. Fortunately, I have no viewers right now, so that's all good. Cool, yes, it looks like we are. So hello, welcome. Actually, there is one other thing I wanted to look at here. Cool, alright. Making sure that I was trying to stream to Instagram, and apparently we don't have the pro plan. So here we are. I'm gonna do this. You know what? I'm a little lost without my partner here, but we're gonna go ahead and see, where's that intro clip? Is that it? Yeah, I'll show you.
You're live in 3, 2, 1.
All right, so we're back, sort of. You might have noticed it's just me. If anybody decides they want to tune in, there we go. I got a viewer. Hello. So Sean is still, I guess, adjusting to parenthood once again. In case you didn't know, he just had another child, so he is probably still adjusting to that. All is well with that. So good to know. So I figured, you know what, we've not done anything on here in a little bit, and I figured I would just kind of hop on. So I don't know the direction that we're really going to go. I'm really sweaty because it is just very hot here in the state of Georgia. So I apologize if you hear any kind of fan noise. I do have a little fan going right here just because it is very, very warm. But I figured I would just get on here, try to keep the brand alive. Well, the viewer left. So that says everything I need to know about me. But anyway, so I'm just going to like play around a little bit, and maybe I'll just talk. I don't know. We'll see. What's up, 2 Yards? How you doing, man? So I was talking to the void a minute ago. So Sean is still, I'm assuming, adjusting to parenthood. So he is, I guess, unavailable right now. But if he sees this, if he happens to catch it, sees the notifications that I went live, just trying to make sure we didn't kind of go dark and leave everybody kind of hanging out without anything to expect. We are still around. We're just, you know, life is kind of lifing right now. So there it is, you know. So I'll just kind of do the best that I can. Like I said, I'm kind of lost without my buddy here, but exactly, yeah. Congratulations to him. Yeah, big congratulations. It's always fun with the little one. So yeah, rig that I'm running through today. I did this last time, whenever last time was. It feels like forever ago. I'm miking up my JJN20 combo amp, the little, you know, combo. And this right here, my SG Junior, this is actually not the SG Junior that I've had, you know, for the past that I've had, the one that I've had most recently. I told you I'm lost. I'm a little unprepared. Yeah, I'm glad to be here, man. Hopefully more people show up. But anyway, so this is actually a newer one. Well, newer to me. It's actually an older one than the one I had before. And I thought it'd be interesting to maybe just talk about that, you know. So there's, yeah, I dig it too, man. I always say that that's one guitar that I won't be without as an SG Junior. Although I am a Les Paul lover, I love a good Les Paul. There's just something about the SG Junior that's always so cool, and I prefer it over the Les Paul Junior. I want to get a Les Paul Junior at some point. I have my eye on one, but that'll be a little further down the road because I'm kind of spent. You know, if that's the case. So that actually can lead into a point that I wanted to maybe talk about that I've tried to make a video on at one point in time, and I actually have a video filmed, but I've not edited it. I probably won't post it and it's basically like the state of YouTube and stuff. You know, I have a problem. Yes. So before I get into what I was going to talk about here, we'll keep it guitar related. So I got this one. This is a 2012. Still got the wraparound on it. This one is a bit different than the one I had before. I believe it's like a darker cherry, and it looks absolutely stunning. Just, it looks so cool. Came with a hard shell case and all that kind of stuff too, which I was kind of looking for, so that's nice to have. The problem that I had with my other SG Juniors, it played fine, but I don't know if the neck was set incorrectly or what the case was. So whenever you would lower the action on basically the lower two strings, the E and the A string, when you would go to fret anywhere up basically beyond like maybe the 15th fret, the string would hit the pickup cover and the pole piece. Now, with P90, well, with dog ear P90s, you can't raise and lower that pickup, right? So what I did was I tried to lower the pole pieces, lowered them down as far as they would go, and I believe that the E string pole piece was stripped, okay? So it wouldn't go all the way down, or it just kept spinning. It didn't tighten up. Now, that presented a problem because I like a low action, okay? So whenever I tried to set it up one day, and I tried to lower the action by lowering the tailpiece, it started kind of leaning up against the pickup cover there. So it would buzz. So you try to raise the action. You'd have to raise the action pretty high. Like it was, I don't want to say shockingly high, but it was definitely not comfortable for me to play at all. This one, the action is very low. There's still plenty of clearance on this pickup. I mean, the tailpiece is like slammed to the body, so it's down. And it just... So see, I have it in drop D, which is not something you hear all the time. My SG Junior's in drop D. But I live in like drop tunings. Yeah, so like down here, so I can play it and the action's low and it's not going to buzz out because... as if I haven't already played enough today. And I believe, yeah, the neck is perfect too. Like I've only had this for like 2 days, so I'm still kind of getting used to it. But yeah, so there's the story of my SG Junior there. Hey, I got another viewer. Leave a comment. Tell me who you are, because I can't see who you are. Yes, this pick guard, I love this pick guard on there. And now I'm a pick guard on a Les Paul guy. I prefer pick guards. I don't have a problem with them. SGs, I'm very particular with SG pick guards. Matter of fact, on my other SG, hey Steve, what's going on, man? I prefer the 61 all day. I don't like the Batwing pick guard, the big pick guard. Don't care for it. So I'll set that back there. There you go. With the Junior, yes, I prefer this kind of wonky Batwing guard. Or small guard, rather, not Batwing. Now, there are some that I've seen. There were a white one with a tremolo on it. I believe it was like a Maestro, something like that. And it has the Batwing pick guard with 1P90s, Junior. And those are strange. They are. I saw one of those on Music Go Around when I was actually looking for my Junior replacement. And I was like, that's cool. It's white. I like a white SG Junior. Like I love the Youngblood SG Junior. If I could find a Gibson like his, like Youngbloods, I'd have that in a heartbeat. But yeah, that one just was weird. And I was like, a Maestro on a Junior? Like I'm not a big tremolo person unless it's a Floyd. I love a Floyd Rose, but there you go. So yeah, Steve, hey man, how's it going? Since you're just joining us, Sean is still adjusting to parenthood. Not that he has to adjust to it, but you know, newborn and all. So he is still just kind of doing that. I figured I'd hop on, say hello to everybody, kind of make sure everybody didn't forget about us. And thus far, with 2 viewers, maybe some people have forgotten about us. I don't know. But we're still here. We're still planning on doing more stuff. So there you go. But yeah, I like this Junior, man. That was a good pig squeal. Anyway, so ooh, a navy blue 61 SG reissue. Nice. See, and that's the other thing about SGs too. So this is the SG episode, I guess. Thanks for the inspiration for a topic. So with SGs, I've always said this. Cherry red is just, to me, that's just the best. It's it's classic. You can't beat a red SG. Now, you know, they're like, black is cool sometimes, but to me, black guitars are just kind of plain, you know? Foliage, yeah. It's hard to adjust, especially when you have like kids that are, you know, 4 or 5, 6, you know, you have a couple years in between. Yeah. So, I can't say that I know that from my own experience, because both my kids are they're 2 years apart, so we didn't have like a huge gap. But my sister she's 7 years younger than me. So like when we were, you know, younger, me and my brother were younger, you know, we'd already kind of grown up a little bit, and then here she come, and it was like adjusting to a newborn as a kid. It's like, you know, so it's not just hard on the parents, it's hard on siblings too, just to adjust to having that newborn. But yeah, so like I said, he's doing well, he's doing all that. It's just, you know, he's obviously busy with that. Cherry red Epi SG G400 Pro. Yes, so fun fact about that, the Epiphone G400 was actually my very first ever SG. Now, I had played many up to that point of owning that one. Jimmy Butter, hey man, how's it going? Yeah, stranger here, but yeah, strangers in the chat if y'all hadn't been talking to each other. So the G400, man, that is a phenomenal guitar. Okay, so the G400 was my first Epiphone, or my first SG, excuse me. I had played a bunch of them up to that point, obviously, and that's kind of where I learned what SGs are about. They're all very particular. Sorry if my hair is frizzing out. It's very hot here in the state of Georgia. So there you go. But yeah, so I went into a Guitar Center and saw one. This was years ago, so when I tell you the price, it was like $179 used. Good luck finding a G400 for that now. And I picked it up, and I was just like, man, this is really, really nice. And it said, if I remember correctly, it said SG Pro on the truss rod cover, but it didn't have the push-pulls, and it had a thick neck on it. So that's where I learned a couple of things, that SGs are very particular. They're very finicky. You have to play one before you buy one, even though I bought both of these without doing that. But I've learned over time. I learned that I like fat necks from that SG. And I just learned to like SGs, because at that point I was still kind of learning what I liked. And I was kind of going down the Les Paul route at that point. But yeah, just the G400s, man, for the money, even now, if you find one for $300, completely worth the money. Like, they still compete with like the Inspired By line, in my opinion. I mean, honestly, I would get a G400 and play it all day long, man. It's really, really nice. And I have that guitar to thank realistically too, for the reason that my main SG, if you will, my standard SG, is called Devil Bitch, and named Megan after my wife, because I did that with that original one. And then when I sold that, I told her, you know, I'm going to get another one and name it after you, and that's where that one came in. So there's that. Now, you all know my heart lays with a Pearson Hyper B. It's tough rolling up into an SG after playing the Hyper B. Yeah, so I don't know about that particular model there, but I will look that up. Pearson Hyper B. I hope I'm keeping y'all somewhat entertained. That is not what I expected that to look like at all. Wow, okay. So let's see if I can get a picture pulled up here of what apparently the Hyper Beat looks like. That is a funky looking guitar. It's just like a headless guitar. Maybe if I'm looking at the right thing here. Let me see if I can add this to my... No, I don't want to add a camera. I just want to share my screen. There we go. Share. Am I doing it? No, I gotta add it to the scene. There we go. All right, so yeah, that is apparently what that looks like. It's very odd looking. I can't say that I would really like that. I mean, I've come to realize I like headless guitars too. They're kind of neat, but yeah. Now going on to the point about the SG neck being an airport like runway. That's a phenomenon that I'd heard about a lot getting into SGs. And it's so weird. And I know why it feels that way. So if you don't know what 2Yard is talking about with an SG, they feel like you have to reach further to get to the lower chords, right? So if you pick up a Les Paul, it feels like it's kind of like right in here. With an SG, it feels like you're reaching more. And I think it really is because of where all of this is. Because you have more of this and the body shape and all that kind of stuff. There's not as much here, right? All of this is cut away. So I think that that's just a mental thing. Correct me if I'm wrong. But, you know, that's, there's that. See what Steve said. I want a Gibby 61 reissue. Yes, you should get one. They're great. Not in the budget, though. Yeah, they are pretty not affordable. I will say that. I got mine a couple years ago. I got it for like $1,000, something like that. Found it used. They had it marked as a custom too, and I was like, man, if this is a custom, that's gonna be cool. And it wasn't. It's just a standard, which is fine. But yeah, they're great. They really are. And the good thing about SGs though is that they are about what they were years ago, where they were brand new. They're about $1,000 ish, somewhere around there, $1,500. Again, totally worth the money. If you can afford it, yeah, get one. The Epi was as close to that reissue as I get. Yeah, so, and that's what I'm saying too. If you can't get it, and I will say this, I've had one of these too. The inspired by Gibson, what was it? The one with the Gibson pickups in it, the Les Paul, the one that said Les Paul on the truss rod cover. That's a really good one. And that's very, very close to the 61. So, and those, and that's with the Kalamazoo headstock. You can find those very affordable right now, because when they came out with the one with the open book headstock, everybody was like, oh, I don't want this one anymore. I want the one that looks like that, you know? And you can find them with the hard shell case and everything for about $300 to $400, maybe $500 on the high end. It's crazy. Same with the Les Pauls. If you want one of the 59 Les Pauls, you can get them. Take it from me. I'm shopping all the time. Not that I need to be. Mine's a 2019, yeah, about $450. That sounds about right. Let's see what else we got here. I have an Omega bass in the works and ordered an Omega 6. I'm now going to look up what an Omega bass is. I bought a really cool bass recently too. I don't know if I showed it to everybody. I might have to get it in a second. What is an Omega bass? Not a bridge. Let's see. Ooh, nice. Yeah, that'd be a cool bass, man. Let's see what else we got here. Go back out of there. So, Hyper B. There's more people talking, or 2Yard talking about the Hyper B again. I'm sorry, I'm behind on the comments. Like I said, it's just me today. So, Steve says, I don't find the neck link to be that big of a deal. Didn't take me any time to adjust to it. Well, you're a superhuman then, because it even now going between a Les Paul and an SG, I kind of have like a minute of like, oh yeah, I'm playing the SG. So, Yeah, if I stick with it for a while, I get used to the length, but it takes a minute. Yeah, that's what I was saying. See, it takes a minute. So, angel wing over bat wing. Yeah, absolutely. That's about where I stand too. So we talked about it a lot. Sorry, I'm just noodling. Yeah, like I said, mic'd up on my JJN20 combo, the big green box of joy there with a SM57. I think it's kind of cool that I'm able to do that. I've been trying to record more using live amps. And it's funny too, because I bought a Black Star, what is this? HT Club 40 Deluxe, so it has an upgraded speaker in it. And then the JJN, I was like, now I got these different amps with these different speakers in it, because I've got an HT5 with the cabinet. It's got the 7080s in it, which those are okay. The Deluxe has a Celestion A-type in it, which I've never played an A-type. That's really cool. And then the JJN has the G12s in it, or a G12 in it, or G75, whatever. That kind of thing. I love that. But then, right after I bought those, Neural Amp Modeler, since I was trying to kind of step away from that, they released the A2 stuff, and Gateway, I think is what it's called. It's called Gateway. And essentially what it is an upgraded version of Neural Amp Modeler. And the A2s are just better, like, amp models and amp sims and all that kind of stuff. So I tried those out, and I gotta tell you, it's better. You can hear like turn off the noise gate, and you can really hear like every little, like that, like you're playing through a real amp. It's very, very good. I imagine it's probably the poor person's equivalent to playing an Axe-Fx. I've played with an Axe-Fx at when I did that big collection video with Frankentone. He had an Axe-Fx, and it's good. I mean, it really is. But the Gateway thing, it's free. Same thing as Neural Amp Modeler, but the A2 stuff, really good. And I actually went on to Tone 3000 recently and saw that there are a lot of companies that are releasing their own official amp models and stuff. And I believe they're doing IR packs too. So if you go to Tone 3000 and you look there, like I found out that Andertons, they released a bunch of different amps. There was a Fender something or other, Fender Deluxe, something like that. They did a Laney Head, an Orange OR30, the Friedman Pink Taco, which I've always wanted one of those amps too. They sound great. There's a Slash AFD, there's a Soldano 30, a Tone King Royalist, and of course they had to do some Victory stuff too. So there's that. I mean, those sound really, really cool, paired with the correct impulse responses. But Black Star, official Black Star, is also on there too. And again, there's a lot of companies that are starting to do this, putting their own amps and stuff on there, which I think is great. And they had like an Artisan 30 head, an Artisan 100, Series 1 100 Mark II, St. James 100, and then a TV10 AH and BH. And they had the heads, and then they had full rigs. So if you just wanted to literally plug and play, you could do that too. And like I said, my whole point with that is I bought the amps to record more live room amps, and then they went and did this. So now I can take essentially the closest thing to what I was shooting for with like the JJN Tone was the St. James 100 head that they put out. And then I went and found some G12 IRs also on Tone 3000. And man, it's really close. It's really, really close. And I kind of hate it because I feel like, well, now I just got these amps that are sitting here. I'm still going to record with those. Going into, I was going to talk about the YouTube thing, but I don't think that really is that big a deal. Essentially, my YouTube views are down. I don't know if anybody else is experiencing that. But watch hours have been down horrendously, and I don't know why. But it doesn't seem to matter what I post, when I post, doing the whole tag thing, the keywords in the description, SEO optimization, like all of the stuff that the YouTube gurus tell you. Title, thumbnail, maybe the hooks aren't as good, but I mean, people aren't even clicking on the videos. And I found out recently too that y'all can tell me to shut up whenever too. I'm literally just rambling. That apparently everybody's videos have kind of whatever smaller channels, and B, my videos are being recommended to people that are never going to click on them. So when they send them out to the test audience of like 200 people, they're never going to click on that video because it's not relevant. So it's like with the World Cup going on, for example. If you go look in my analytics, maybe a short that I posted or a video, it could even be a video, but if you're talking shorts, I did my revisiting of Jimi Hendrix, the national anthem thing, because I figured it was appropriate with 4th of July coming up. If you haven't checked that out, feel free to do that. And something like that would be recommended to somebody that's looking at like a highlight from the World Cup. And I'm like, why are you doing that? There's nothing in here that suggests that it should be shown to that person. So it's almost like it's some kind of sabotage. I don't know. What is Steve saying here? I want to get a reamp box like the IK 10X capture. I think that's how you say that. So I can make proper tone X and NAM captures of my amps. Yes. That's something that I kind of wanted to do too, because I figured if I could make NAM captures of these amps and of these speakers, like, make my own IRs. I've never explored doing that, like how to do it. I figured that'd be kind of cool too. Because the thing with me is, with it being summertime right now, especially because my timing is great, my wife works for the school, and then my kids are out, so they're all home. Oh, Tonex. Okay, there you go. That makes more sense. I know what Tonex is. I was like, what's a 10X? Tonex. And so they're all home, and when I wake up in the morning, be 7:30, 8 o'clock. I work from home. Like after I check my emails, if I got some downtime or I'm on my lunch break or whatever, I can't play loud because they're asleep, because they're sleeping in, because it's summertime. So to mic up a cab and play it at the volume that it needs to be played at, I can't really do that. So if I could find a way to capture them, get one of the torpedo boxes or something like that, like a load box, even if I was going to do that and run IRs, and then I can dime the amps and then record them proper, IK Multimedia is good stuff. Yeah. And yeah, that part especially, they are a pain to get activated. I forget what it is I have that's the IK Multimedia thing, but they're a pain. I think they have to have their own software or whatever. But so if that looks putrid to you, it's not. It's pistachio latte. It's delicious. It's from a place called Daybright. It's owned by Chick-fil-A, and I believe that we have the only Daybright. It's local to us, like in the country, I believe. Which is funny too, because my town also got the very first ever Walmart doctor office. If that tells you anything about where I live at. That's our highlight, is that one of our local Walmarts was the first one in the country to get the Walmart doctor. And it's not there anymore. I think it's a pet doctor now, like a vet, right? Pet doctor, like I didn't know what a veterinarian was. So I think that's what that is now. Yeah, and then we have that, and then a corporate coffee shop. It's just like Chick-fil-A too. It's got the whole, and they actually put it where an old Chick-fil-A was. But it really is owned by them. But anyway, y'all don't care about that. We're not here to talk about that. yeah, so there you go. I don't know. What else we got going on here? I guess on the topic of Gibson, since we were talking about that, whoops, turn the guitar down. How does everybody feel about Gibson's CEO stepping down? That was something in the news recently. I think that, because the way that I thought about it was like, look, Gibson guitars obviously have their ups and downs. They've had their years like 2015 where they just made absolute garbage instruments, and then beyond that, basically once Cesar took over, it was pretty good. I've played a lot of the Gibsons from like the past couple years, and they've been pretty good. I can't complain. Especially like my both of my Les Pauls, my standard, my 50 standard, and my custom shop. They're both from relatively recent. I believe my standard's 2024, and then my custom shop's 2025. Yes. Hey Mark, how you doing, man? What's going on? Welcome. Just to fill you in, Sean's still dealing with new parenthood and all that kind of stuff, so he's kind of just doing his own thing, and bless him for that. Everything's well, all that's good. He's just probably delirious from lack of sleep. I can only imagine. Let's see, but yeah. So going with that. So if you don't know who Six String TV is, great channel, and he actually made a point on this. He's a staunch like Gibson hater. You know, he's a Fender guy, which is cool. And he made a point too. He was like, him stepping down doesn't really matter all that much because he's not really a great guitar player. Talking about the old CEO, Kalen's a great guitar player, the Six String TV guy. He's great, but the Gibson CEO, Cesar, that's what everybody calls him, because I guess that's his name, and he can't really play. Like, he always played the same, I forget what riff he was playing, but he always played like the same riff in all the clips that he showed, which is fine. Play whatever. And I think it was some Tony Iommi riff on an SG, so appropriate. Kalen made a point. He was like, he kind of just used his opportunity as CEO of Gibson to hang out with celebrities, which I was like, yeah, he kind of whatever. And then they have the interim CEO right now, so they find a replacement, and I'm like, can we just make Mark Agnesi CEO? Like, that dude is all about it, right? Like, if anybody can actually play and knows a lot about the brand, it is Mark Agnesi. Think what you want about him, say what you want about him. He knows his stuff, right? So that's how I feel about it. I think that he would be a great CEO. Yeah, congratulations to Sean again. What else we got here? Hate takes too much energy. I highly dislike the path that Fender's taking. Oh yeah. I agree. Yeah, people that just kind of hate all the time, and that's just all they do. It's just too much, man. You just need to kind of like chill out. You don't have to love everybody. You can dislike people. I get it. But if someone bothers you that much, just don't pay them any mind. Right? Sometimes hate is justified, I guess, if somebody really just murdered somebody that you love. I guess. I mean, if it's to take it to the extreme, but I mean, you can hate somebody, but don't let it rule your day. I have to remember that sometimes, because I have a lot of I don't want to say hate, but a lot of discourse with a lot of people. Sometimes just people that have, in my past, like way in the past, that have done me wrong. And you think about it sometimes and you kind of stew on it, and it's just like, man, I wish I could have gone back and done this. And it's just like you start to get those old feelings back, and it's like, yeah. So Fender doing the same thing. I know that I'm not using this as a therapy session, but Fender doing what they're doing, yeah, we all know that they're not being very whatever. Oh, 2 yards. You mean you'd rather go to the dentist than listen to me ramble on about nothing? Wow. Thank you very much, though. Great stream, very entertaining. I'm trying. I mean, as a enjoy your dentist trip, by the way. So I'm also using this opportunity. I've thought about starting my own live, like, you know, Sean has his Friday Night Lives. I've thought about starting my own live stream separate from all of this. And I feel like I've already got the perfect name for it. And it's been hanging on my wall this whole time. There you go. I could do my own live stream called Pink Vibes Only, because I have this whole wall back here that's just like the signs right there in the middle. You know, just got it at Hobby Lobby because I figured it was, you know, I know it was meant for some little girl's room, but it's in my grown man basement. Is any of this whatever? Anyway, you know, and then I've got the guitars hanging on the wall and stuff. I don't know if you can see it. I got my big flamingo boy back there that my father-in-law got me. Like one of those like scrap metal flamingos, really cool. Could do that. I don't know. But what are your thoughts on that? I mean, is that something that would be entertaining at all or even worth my time? I don't know. Got one viewer in here. Maybe that's the sign. Anyway. So, yeah, like I said, I've tried to take the opportunity to like use my experience as a DJ to do something like this. So like where I kind of have to know how to talk to people and kind of keep things going, because that's part of what I do. I have to kind of not improvise, but just, you know, be energetic and be whatever. And I know this is kind of like a chill kind of thing. But hey, you know, it is what it is. So you're gonna hear that. There you go. Let's see what else is in the news. I don't know if... Oh! It's all about Gibson today, I guess. Man, I wish Sean was here. We could be talking about this stuff. But Gibson released a Fender scale length Les Paul Custom. 25 and a half inch scale length, if I can talk. And I thought that was kind of interesting. And I thought it was kind of like, it's about time. Right? Because, you know, I like the shorter scale length. I've always kind of preferred the shorter scale length, but there are so many people that take Les Pauls and put them in like drop C. You know how I know that? Because I'm one of them. My Epiphone, my JCLP back there is drop C because it just works. Now, obviously, I always say the solution to a short scale guitar, if you want to drop tune it, is just to put thicker strings on it. But then you run into the issues of like the nut. Is the nut cut for 11s or 12s, depending on how low you really want to tune? So you run into that issue. Now, I find personally that 10s, 10 to 52s seem to handle the drop C tuning pretty well. That's just my experience. Yours could vary. And that's talking on short scale guitars, so Gibson scale length guitars. But I think that the Les Paul Custom with the 25 and a half inch scale length is a good idea. And there are people, and like, so another thing that they should do, because people have been harping on about it, and I kind of agree, is to make the 27 inch baritone. Right, like actual proper baritone scale length. I think that that's a good idea too. With the Matt Heafy 7-string, I think that's the one thing that, at least with the original iteration, that really kind of killed that one to some degree, was that it was a standard Gibson scale length. Now, with me personally, again, I didn't have any problems with it. You put a thicker set of 7-string strings on there, and it seems to work out fine. So yeah, there's that. I think I'm gonna try to, play something else. I don't know. My one person, if you want to watch me switch guitars, hey. Oh, look, another SG. That's what we're gonna play. I've not played this one in a second either. So 61. I forget that I put this one in the half step, but it sounds great. So, yeah, there's that. I don't know what else to say at this point. Let's see, what else is there that I could think of? Sticking with Gibson stuff, I guess. Kramer, one of my favorite brands, as you can probably tell. Kramer right there, 2 hot doggers back there. They released a gold edition of like all of their models, which I thought was kind of cool, like the Berettas and the 84s and the Pacers and all that kind of stuff. And one guy came in here and dipped. He's like, this dude's boring as hell. I don't blame him. I don't blame him. Just wait till I start playing. He's like, oh Lord. I don't know. But yeah, so like Kramers are cool. I thought about getting one of those gold ones too, but again, well, whoever's still watching, I'm a little tapped at the moment for buying stuff, so I'm gonna try to, and I'm trying to be careful too, because with the YouTube views being down, that's gonna affect my revenue. So I need to kind of just work with what I got now, which is fine. You know, it'll harbor creativity. You know, kind of thing. Oh, Mark's the one that's listening to me ramble. Hey, Mark. My Kiesel was delivered yesterday. Cool. Yeah, I've never played a Kiesel. I've never even had the opportunity to pick one up and play it, or a Carvin for that matter. I think the closest I've ever come was to an old Carvin, and it was at one of my local guitar centers, like kind of high up, and I was like, oh, cool, a Carvin, and then just kind of walked on to wherever I was going. And the thing with me and Kiesel, I have a weird, I guess I'm influenced by all of the hatred toward Kiesel that they had a little while back, and Jeff Kiesel, where he was kind of being an ass to the one guy. And I think it was Six String TV, going back to him too, getting some promotion here. He had talked about the guy, Jeff Kiesel. There was a guy that had ordered a Kiesel, was like a lifelong Kiesel fan. And he ordered something that was, I think it was supposed to have a roasted maple neck on it, something like that. And it showed up with not a roasted maple neck. Like it was, if it was like barely. It was nothing. It was not near what they advertised. So again, dude's a lifelong Kiesel, like had a ton of them. Talked about he's bought just those for 20 years or whatever it was. So he went back to Kiesel and he was like, hey, this thing that I just spent money on and ordered, it's not as advertised. Can I just get it remade? Or whatever, can we get it fixed? And Jeff Kiesel got on Instagram and stuff and was just like flaming this guy. Talking about, this is flame maple, like it's clearly flame, and it's like, it's not though, he's got pictures. And I think there were some other QC issues with the guitar too. And I was like, man, this is crazy. This is a crazy business to do that with. And the end result of that was that the customer ended up apologizing on Facebook, like this whole big apology, and it was just the epitome of victim blaming. And I'm like, what are you doing? Like, why would you do that to someone that's especially like lifelong fan? Like, so that kind of turned me off from Kiesel. And it doesn't seem like it's one of those two sides every story type thing, because I mean, it seemed pretty one-sided there. It's like customer orders something, customer doesn't get something, company rips on customer because they're not happy, wants to charge restocking fees and won't rebuild to make them happy. Customer apologizes. Like, that's not how that's supposed to go. But that's how it went. And yeah, I don't like that. Again, just me though. What else did Mark say? Steve says, congrats, Mark. My second time. So it's your second Kiesel that you ever bought? Is that what you're saying? First time is when I was there and ordered it. Were you at where Kiesels are? Where are they made from? California? Where are Kiesel guitars? Southern California. Yeah, there you go. Cool. Yeah, there you go. All right, cool. Well, like I said, I hope you enjoy your Kiesel. That's not a dig. I'm just saying I hope you enjoy it. I hear they're pretty good guitars. Now, that opens up the whole, man, these are just, they're flowing today. We've hit a couple snags, but yeah. So that kind of goes into the whole custom order guitar thing. And this is maybe something that people need to realize when they go into ordering custom made guitars, especially if it's like looks, the cosmetics, I think play heavily into that, is the resale value. With Mark, I know he doesn't sell anything, so that's kind of irrelevant to mention, but it's something that I always take into consideration anytime I've ever considered doing like a custom order. I've never done a custom order. And I don't know if I would really want to. I'm at a point in my life. Oh, that's a cool birthday trip. Awesome. So you treated yourself. That was, yeah, there you go. Might as well, right? It's your birthday. Get a birthday present. So with a custom order, I'm at a point in my life where I know what I like. I know what kind of neck I like. I know like the scale length and like all that stuff. It would just be a blatant Gibson ripoff, if anything. So I don't know. I try to make it different. I would have to, whatever. But anyway, so when you do a custom order, if that's something, if you get tired of that guitar, if you want to sell it to try to fund something else for whatever reason, you're kind of married to it. You're going to take a bath on the resale. Because unless you can find somebody else that likes your specific guitar all the way through, you're never going to make your money. You're not going to make your money back on it regardless, but you're going to lose a lot of money. Which is kind of what's, with me buying and selling and trading so much, that presents its own problem. Because I might say, oh, I love this thing, I'll never get rid, and then I'll end up getting rid of it. I have a couple guitars that are like that where I'm not going to. Both my Les Pauls, this SG right here, well, all three of my Les Pauls, my Epiphone too, I won't get rid of that one. My Hot Doggers, I've kind of narrowed it down to where I'm only interchanging like 2 guitars at a time. My Strat back there is a keeper. This SG Junior that I was playing, wherever it went, I think it's back there. Yeah, I think that's probably going to end up being the keeper too, just because it's better than my last one. And I'm really starting to think that this Lizzie Hale, there you go, is going to be. The problem with that Lizzie Hale, and this was something that a lot of people complained about, and I think I talked about this in my full video on it. So when the Lizzie Hale Voyager was released, it was like $15.99, $14.99, something like that, and came with a hard shell case, full whatever. But the thing with that is, and there's a couple things that threw me about it. The big thing that people didn't like about it is the fact that it's a bolt-on neck. Okay, I kind of get it at that price point, especially with something from, well, Kramer has bolt-on neck stuff. That's just the way that it is. But at that price point, you kind of expect stuff to be neck through or set neck at least. But here's the thing. I'm kind of glad that one's a bolt-on, because, and maybe some people would say, oh, this is a deal breaker, but you can fix it. I had to buy these. I had to buy some neck shims for it. And I've not put them on there yet because I just changed the strings on it, so I'm trying to wear those out before I go and take it apart and have to reset it up because it does have a Floyd on it. The action beyond the 12th fret's a little high. The bridge is already down as far as it can go because it's not a recessed body, so it doesn't have the recessed cavity, so it can only go down so far. And I'm like, you know what? If that was a set neck and that was just the issue is just it was set wrong, then I'm just screwed. Now, I got that one when they were blowing them out, so I didn't pay $1,500 for that. But that's where neck shims are handy, folks. And in fact, a lot of bolt-on guitars have neck shims in them from the factory. So when people sit and say, oh, well, neck shims are just, like if the neck needs to be shimmed, that's just a deal breaker. It's like, no, you should be fortunate enough that it is a bolt-on neck and you can fix it. Sorry, my little wireless thing fell off here. So, there we go. So what does Steve got to say here? Now we got some more interactions. If I sold my 1980 Sonex 180 Standard, I'd probably make $1,000 on it for what I paid back in '96. That's only because of the pickups, and there were very few people looking for it. It's a small market. Yeah, so things like that. And the Sonex, that you're talking about like the Gibson Sonex, right? 180 Standard. Yeah. That's that, yeah, kind of odd looking Les Paul thing. Yeah, and things like that, given the time, I mean, it's almost like where I was talking about the Kiesel thing. Carvins, I think, have kind of maybe increased in value a little bit because they don't make carvins anymore. So even if they are wonky custom-made things, they don't make carvins anymore. So you have that thing added to it where it's like the rarity of it, It's almost like buying a like you said, a Sonex. They don't make those anymore. So yeah, there's a little bit of value that's added to it just based on that fact. And it is what it is. I mean, that's part of the reason as a buyer, I look for that sometimes. When these were being blown out, the Lizzie Hales, I was like, oh yeah, I gotta, now that they knocked off 50% or whatever it was, like, yeah, absolutely, I'll take it. Because I wanted one of those, but I just could not justify the price because I was like, eh. The other thing about that too that I forgot to mention is that it's made in China, which I don't care really about country of origin, but generally speaking, when things are made in China, they're cheaper, right? But that's not what was weird about it to me. What was weird about it, because I get it's a signature model and stuff, so the artist has to get their piece, so Lizzie Hale's getting her piece. What was weird about it was that all of the other Kramers, the more recent ones, and especially I can say for my hot doggers, they're made in Indonesia. So I thought it was a little strange that one was as expensive as it was made in China, but the other two were made in Indonesia. I don't know. Now, quality difference-wise, I mean, they play about the same. I think this one's got more of like a natural finish neck on it. The one, personally, I prefer the hot dogger necks more to this one, but that one's not bad. I think if you oiled that one a little bit, like did the gun oil thing on the back, it would be perfect. It'd be fine. After I shim the neck, obviously. But anyway, so what do we got here? Yeah, the Gibson. There you go. So the pickups are Tim Shaw designed Dirty Finger. Ooh, nice. Yeah. They sell a set on Reverb for $8 to $1,000 for collectors. Yeah. So yeah, so that's the Dirty Finger thing. That's another thing. I had at one point in time one of the old Epiphone Prophecy models that had Gibson Dirty Fingers in it, and that was a big selling point with those, was just those pickups alone. And I thought they were good. And I don't. Everybody knows that I'm kind of not like a big like this specific pickup is a thing. But to each his own. I will say that there are some pickups that maybe just have more output, so maybe they just sound better to the ear, or maybe they are a little bit clearer or whatever the case. But I mean, again, once you start like throwing distortion on it, to me, it's just one of those things where it's like, yeah, you're really not going to pick up on those little nuances. You're just not. But again, to each his own. I don't really just want to rag on anybody. If that's what you believe and that's what makes you play better, then go for it. But if you're in the market of making guitars and selling them and being like, oh, I got magic wood and pickups, looking at you, Paul Reed Smith. So there's that. All right. what else can we kind of talk about here? We got like 5 minutes left till this is supposed to be done with. Hope you guys have enjoyed this. I mean, like I said, this was just kind of a very impromptu, kind of keeping the OnlyFrets thing alive here. I know we had a couple people kind of come in, had to leave, but we had the usual gang here. So thank you very much to Yards and Mark and Steve for popping in here. I appreciate that. Like I said, we should have things relatively back to normal as time goes on. I appreciate all the engagement and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, magic pickups. Yeah. That'd be a good brand. Don't steal it. I'm saying it right now. I'm gonna do that. Okay. I'm gonna go and buy just to prove a point. I'm gonna go and buy some cheap pickups from Amazon, unbranded, of course, naturally. And I'm gonna get the ones that have no markings on them at all, and I'm gonna laser engrave my own logo on there. I'm gonna call them magic pickups. And I bet you if you market them right, you'll catch people will be like, "Oh, these are just great." It's almost like that'd be a funny social experiment. But yeah, don't steal that. That's my idea. Anyway, it's almost like, I don't know if you've ever seen this video. There's a video where they took and rented out a space. I think it was in a mall or something like that. They rented out a space, like a retail space, and they took shoes from Payless and they put them in there. But what they did, I forget what they called the store, but it was like a play on the word Payless, but it sounded like Payless or whatever, Payless, something like that. It sounded fancy and European. And they were marketing the shoes as like these really high-end designer brand shoe kind of things. And you had all these influencers and uppity people going in there like, "Oh yeah, the craftsmanship and the quality on these is just so fantastic. And this brand is just going to be the next big thing." And they were talking about it. And then they ended up telling like, "These shoes are from Payless, right?" And they're like, "Oh." And I'm like, yeah. So it's interesting to see like the influence that a brand name has behind it. As I'm holding, a Gibson, that's only a Gibson's good enough is what they say, And as we've talked about here, it's like Epiphones, they work. Is it still Gibson? Yeah. But you could also get any guitar as long as it's set-upable and playable and it makes a sound that's a good sound. It is what it is. But it's like why I play Black Star amps. I like Black Star. But you know what it is? It's really just the speakers. Celestion speakers. There's a brand. See? So there's that. I don't know. Brands are powerful, and how you market them, it's all marketing. And see, what's funny too is I have these kind of ideas, and like I understand all of this as, I don't want to say as a brand, but as somebody who brands themselves with the YouTube thing. It's hard. It's hard because you have to, it's not about even putting in the work. Like I can put in the work if I really wanted to market myself, more heavily. But the thing is, I don't do this for a living. I do it for fun. So to spend like money and all of this time and all that kind of stuff to pay for advertising space, or to like, the most I'll do, and I have done, I need to do it again, is I made business cards. And I would take them to Guitar Center. This is another funny story. I'd take them to Guitar Center, and I'll walk around, like I'll have a bunch in my pocket, and I'll walk around and be like, "Oh," you'll have a guitar hanging here, and it's like, "Oh, that's a cool guitar, huh?" Like, and I'll just like leave the leave the business card in the strings and walk away. I did that one time. I probably like 15, 20 business cards throughout one of my local Guitar Centers. And I'm like, any advertising is good advertising, right? Or any publicity is good publicity. I think I ended up going back like maybe a week later, and all of those cards were all over the floor. Like, I put them on the amps and stuff, and they were just all over the place. I'm like, you know what? They're still here. That's all that matters. They're not in the guitars anymore, which is fine. I get people arguing, but I'm like, I was expecting people to take them and like scan the QR code on it. Like, oh, this is cool. Like, you know, it's relevant. I'm advertising in the right place. So I don't know. That's that. Again, I understand how all of that kind of stuff works, and I can market stuff pretty cleverly. If I really wanted to, but I don't know. It's hard, especially like I said, with all the YouTube stuff being down recently, and just, it's been very discouraging, like to the point where I have considered hanging it up. I've really considered like just stopping YouTube because it's been so iffy recently, and it's like at a point where it feels like I can't recover. And I know it's just like a valley. We all have peaks and valleys, you know. But it's very discouraging when it's like you are heavily, like, everything's heavily against you. Because they push the bigger channels, and that's fine. I get that that's what it is. But it's like you can't give small channels a chance. You're showing my videos to the wrong people. So and it's part of the reason I've been posting more on like community posts and Instagram and Facebook. I've been trying to kind of use that bit to advertise more. I've not done it recently. I need to post some more stuff too, but I don't know. It's one of those things. I'm not going to go anywhere, by the way. For the moment, I've kind of gotten over that. Like, I'm going to quit YouTube thing. I kind of just had my moment where I'm like, oh man, and then whatever. So it is what it is. You know, I'm here and you guys are here, and you've sat and listened to me ramble for an hour about random stuff. You've engaged, and that's the kind of stuff that keeps me going. Honestly, that's the kind of stuff that keeps me like, yeah, there are people that watch. And yeah, now we got 5 people in here. Wow. Hello, everybody. I think we need to change our time. I think that's something that we need to do, because it almost seems like as we get to the 3 o'clock Eastern mark, that's when more people come in. But see, this would be the 3rd time change that we've had, because I think we were doing it at like 12 or 11 Eastern, because we kind of figured like, oh, people are on their lunch break, people are kind of whatever, you know. But I didn't think about this. On the Eastern side, if we did it later, people getting off work could, like, you know, in their car, maybe not watch it obviously, but like you could put it on and just listen to it. Because I do that sometimes. I'll put on something like from YouTube in my car and just, you know, set it like in my cup holder or something and just listen to it, you know. So yeah, 11 there, Mark. But you're like all the way that away, so I get it. But and that's the thing. Going back to the whole marketing thing, is it's like when you go to upload a video and you pick a time. I know people say, well, the time doesn't matter, but it does to some degree, because if you're uploading at 10 o'clock on the Eastern side, what is that, like 6 on the West Coast and 6 a.m.? You know? So it's like, who's going to watch it? You're isolating that market of people that could potentially watch your video. But then it's like you can't post too late on the Eastern side, because then people here are going to be doing other things. So, you know, I've experimented with that. I've not really noticed any kind of big difference. But I know that it matters, because if you go on a Meta Business Suite and you look at when you're going to go like schedule a post, it'll tell you like most of your followers are on at this time. And something that I notice consistently is that, and this is good information for anybody that maybe, you know, whatever. I've noticed consistently that it's later in the afternoon, early evening time. Most of my followers on Instagram and stuff are looking, or are active, not looking at my stuff, but are active on Facebook and Instagram 4 and 5 o'clock. And I'm like, it makes sense because people getting off work that time, they might not be able to use their phones as much. So they're going to take and check everything that's happened throughout the day. And there's that. So I don't know. We're running over here, folks, but that's the way that it works here. I'm like I said, I've rambled, I've talked a lot, and so there you go. I'm gonna go ahead and I guess jump off here. Again, now that more people are starting to jump in, so if it's not people that have already been here. We run from 2 to 3 Eastern. We might change that. So everybody that's regular here, if you've watched it this far, we may... That's something that I'm going to run by Sean. Obviously, I'm not going to make any decisions without him. But that is something that I will consider if I decide to start Pink Vibes only. I've run that through my head a couple times. And I might start that on my own channel. So what day of the week, I don't know. Just depends. But I could run that later in the evening. We'll see. But anyway... So, yeah, keep an eye out for that. Thursdays, 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific. It could change. Maybe we'll push it to 3 Eastern. What would that be? 12 Pacific? Maybe? Yeah? 2 to 3, so 11 to 12. I don't know, something like that. So, yeah, we'll see. Again, thank you guys in the chat. Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Mark. Thank you, 2 Yards. I know he's not here anymore. He's getting his gums scraped at the moment. And yeah, like I said, I know it's just kind of an impromptu day, but I've got some plans after this anyway. So I gotta to split anyway. But I'm not good at goodbyes. But we gotta go. I didn't even play any stingers. I'll play a stinger out of here, and then yeah, we'll go. Merry Christmas.
This is Santa Claus. Take it from me. I'm not the only one coming down your mom's chimney. Ho, ho, ho! You're watching the OnlyFrets